through everything almost.
Yeah, Blackfeather and Rona were both very heavy priorities for Gankstars in some of the more recent games, but the Vox ban is definitely intriguing. It's not really something that you feel like Dienzio has been prioritizing, but it is going to be Blackfeather banned, Rona immediately grabbed for Gankstars, saying that's one of the picks that they have been running a lot of in the lane.
And now the Vox ban makes sense because that's a pick that you don't want to go up against if you're playing Rona. You can make her work against most things, even the Kestrel in lane, if you're playing it well and you don't have double weapon power composition. The Vox is the only thing that you should worry about. But that does mean T-Tigers gets the Rhyme, and for Xenotech to be going up against that, he should be scared of the pick, to be honest.
Yeah, it's definitely a very strong pick, but I mean, Gankstars, they made the decision. They had the choice of going Rhyme or Rona. They wanted the priority on the Rona, and so you got to expect the Rhyme to be coming out after that kind of pickup. So we'll see what they do to deal with it. Maybe they go for a Crystal Sky in the jungle for Xenotech when it comes back around to them.
And this will most likely be a Lyra pickup here for Tribe. They favor that roamer so heavily, and with Arden being taken away, unless they want the Lance so that they can continuously stun the Rona and Kithian her away if she uses Red Mist, then they should be going for the Lyra here. It's going to be up to them to make that decision. But like you said, Tasty Bacon, Gankstars obviously still have options to play against this Rhyme. But with having a Rona already who's going to want to play in melee range, Rhyme definitely seems to have win conditions going into the match.
The other option I could see for Tribe would be a Grace pickup. Just because if you're in the middle of a team fight and Rona's spinning around on everyone, that 30% damage reduction on 2 people could do a lot of work, but instead it's going to be a Lyra, and Gankstars, they knew exactly what they wanted, immediately grabbing the Catherine and the Baptiste to round out this composition.
Yeah, they definitely seem to have come into this draft very well prepared. Instantaneously, Lahawk and the Catherine and the Baptiste. I mean, very strong composition. Does very well. A lot of CC, a lot of melee brawling, and with Rona going into the late game, you scale very well as well. The only thing is that with Rhyme, Baptiste can be shut down very heavily in the early game. And T-Tigers versus Xenotech, as players, I would definitely give the matchup over to T-Tigers as of recent performance.
We'll have to see how that jungle matchup is going to go and how aggressive T-Tigers can be in that jungle. Kestrel will be the final pick locked in there for Dienzio. He'll be heading on up to the lane against that Rona. Curious to see how this one's going to pan out. This is such an important game for these teams. This is such an important game, especially for Tribe. But I have to say, the Gankstars draft, very convincing.
Yeah, it's definitely a very strong draft that they have for themselves. You have the lockdown combo of the Catherine Baptiste. You have that massive damage that comes out from a Rona. It's just going to be a matter of can they continuously stick to this Kestrel. That's the only real question. And if the answer is yes, then Gankstars, could easily end up winning this game.
Yeah, both teams coming in with very strong compositions, in my opinion. But it's going to be about whether Baptiste will be shut down and rolled over in the jungle by the Rhyme, and then later on, like you mentioned, how well will they use their CC? Also, you got the Catherine, Merciless Pursuits, the Silences, and then the Fearsome Shades. If they combine their abilities well and go for wombo combos, as we usually call them, they can definitely pull it through.
Absolutely. This is going to be a huge matter of who can control this game. T-Tigers on the Rhyme. Can he run away with this one? It's time to find out. Hashtag Vainglory8. Let us know who you are supporting. We've got Tribe against Gankstars now. We've got TSM against Tempo Storm after this series as well. Everything is on the line for these two teams, and it's time to pass it over to our casters, Medic and Denominate.
Thank you very much, Munch. I'm glad that you were able to find the microphones after losing them in Las Vegas with your glasses. Glad you've got your glasses back as well, my man. You always look good. Look suave and sophisticated with a pair of spectacles upon your fine face. I'm Medic, I'm joined by Denominate, and we are in the second series of the day here for the NA VG8.
Yeah, glad to be here with you, Medic. Mac Daddy starting off with a stun, and despite Gankstars being at the bottom of the Vainglory8 leaderboards right now, this is a team that you do have to take seriously. They have a very high talent pool roster, and they're on some reasonable comfort picks now, too, as well. So we'll have to see if they're able to pull things out. Dienzio, obviously, once known for his Kestrel as well. We'll have to see in this 2.9 patch, where Kestrel is still incredibly strong, if they're able to pull things together and pull out a victory.
Yeah, I think Zio will be very happy that he is got this Kestrel pick. Tigers on the Rhyme as well. We saw Rhyme has a 64% win rate at the moment, so things stacking up in favor of Tribe. But as you say, you can never underestimate the Gankstars, especially with Xenotech and Luluzio playing so well. Luluzio on this Rona, definitely one to watch as we get into the meat of this game. Important for everyone watching, just tuning in, Tribe do still have a chance at that second spot for NA4 Worlds. They still have that opportunity, their shot to go to Singapore. They need to win this game, and they need TSM to do pretty badly as well across the course of the week. But they have to win this game to be able to secure that spot, assuming that TSM don't do too well later on as well. So we'll have to see, because they've got part of it in their own hands, but part of it is reliant on TSM losing some games in the future.
And, just to say the same for Rogue, they have lost their matchup against Cloud9. They no longer have control over their destiny for the rest of this season. It's up to what Tribe and Team Solo Mid can do. Obviously, it is Rogue up at the top right now, but with 8 points on the line for this week, that could change very quickly.
It definitely could. We could even get down to win percentage depending on how some of the results go. So there's a lot of complex mathematics being done by people who aren't me, thankfully, and they have worked out exactly how it's going to play out. We saw Dienzo getting ganked in the lane there, but he's so safe on this Kestrel. Active Camo's out and gets himself to safety with the rest of Tribe coming in to help out. Need to see exactly how Tribe are going to play this early to mid portion of the game, because they've got a few options. They can go a bit aggressive with the Rhyme, so good in those skirmishes. The Lyra is there as well there with the sustain, and that's exactly what they're doing. They're forcing Xenotech back. They steal away a Treant, and they get some damage onto Mac Daddy B as well.
Yeah, and it's a good start for them. I think I'm gonna go with they are the crowd favorite to win. They are. Obviously the ones that are fighting for a point here. Gankstars are in the challenge battles regardless of what happens. They cannot make it to Worlds, so this is kind of a similar scenario to the last game where we said that Cloud9 was fighting just to be the better team and Rogue was fighting for an actual reason for their chance at Worlds. Now that's kind of the same situation that Tribe's in.
Stun onto Zero underneath the turret, but I think Tribe, Gankstars probably have a little bit more on the line here. I know it sounds odd, but having the momentum going into next week when you're playing in those challenge battles, being able to take down a team like Tribe, which sets you up in really good stead. Whereas Cloud9 have a month before Worlds, this week isn't as impactful in the short term for them. They're just playing much more for the pride of knowing that they can consistently win in NA. Tiger's going to get chased out of the jungle here by Xeno, who secures the Treant for himself, and Tribe are about 1,200 gold ahead at this point. They've been able to CS a little bit better, been able to steal away some of those jungle camps. Look at Tigers, he's basically doubled the CS of Xenotech at the moment. So that Baptiste is struggling a little bit in the jungle for Gankstars.
Yeah, and Tribe doing a great job applying pressure in the lane. Lulu is forced so low that he's going to have to recall Max Green. Can you get the stop? You can't. No Imperial Sigil, so not going to find a kill there. But yeah, Tribe doing a great job at both invading the jungle and pressuring the lane. They might even find this first turret here in a minute.
Yeah, turret even before a kill goes down for the 5-minute mark as well. That's incredibly speedy considering the games we've had already today. And Tribe with Burst Turret continue to solidify more of a gold lead. Zeo goes back, gets himself a Sorrow Blade. Tribe are looking in good stead to continue their run for that world spot.
Absolutely. Max Green has gone with the Crucible for the first item, so that is going to give him a little bit more healing on his Imperial Sigils, but not going to have that fountain activatable for quite some time now. So that is something to keep note in these fights. If the Imperial Sigil is down and Tribe don't have any healing for themselves, whereas Mac Daddy B is approaching that fountain. He doesn't have it yet, but he's getting quite close. And that could be a decider in the next fight going forward.
Yeah, we'll have to see if it is, because I think having the Crucible into the Fearsome Shade and the Blast Tremor can do a lot of work as well. So it's really very dependent on how well Max Green plays the next fight and how well Mac Daddy and Gankstars are able to react, because they don't have the fountain yet. There's the Bright Bulwark. Tigers gets locked up in the Ordained, but doesn't even need to run out of that to take the stun, can just continually push down. A lot of poke coming out from Tribe here. They have good damage onto this turret if they can get near with those glimmers and the Winter Spires, and Luluzio not really farmed up enough yet to be able to force this back. Has the Serpent's Mask, but doesn't really have too much more. Once again, the Ordained comes out. And Tribe willing just to take prolonged trades because they have that Imperial Sidra, because they have that bit of extra sustain. Gankstars is dearly lacking, and Mac Daddy has to pop the Healing Flask as Luluziu jumps back in, but just waiting for the next wave here for Tribe as they can just force into the turret once again, looking for the glimmers. They're not quite going to go for the turret. Instead, there comes the block out from the Fearsome Shade. They're looking for the re-engage. The Red Mist comes out. Tribe on the back foot. Xenotech running down towards the bottom side, but already Tribe have got first blood. And now it's Luluziu and Xenotech trying to win this fight without their roam. Xenotech will get chased down towards his own sentry. And it looks like Luluziu will be able to get away into the jungle of Tribe as well.
Yeah, but that's going to be first blood going over to Tribe. That's going to extend their lead. They already had a little bit, but can Xenotech find Max Green here in the jungle? Max Green even going to steal away that Treant from him, so that's kind of a rough spot for Xeno to be in. As Tribe are looking to keep the aggression up. They have 2 turrets, they have the first blood, but they might be giving up a kill.
Maybe a little bit of an overextension here, but the Imperial Sigil heals up Max Green. He steps back in with the Bright Bulwark. There's the Red Mist as well. Now it's on Dienzio to try and get the damage down onto Luluziu. The fountain completed by Mac Daddy B is popped as well, and Gankstars still, even after they go back, even if after they die and you see all of the Tribe members so low, Gankstars just cannot take these fights, and Tribe is still willing to step up. The stun is going to land. Max Green gets it out with the Crucible though, and Luluziu with the Red Mist spinning up. Arcane Passage used. Luluziu will get the first kill. He is going to get chased out by the Rhyme. Tigers will get him with that Winter Spire. Ends up being a 1-for-1 trade, but still Tribe in a dominant position in this game.
Yeah, they definitely are. They are taking a lead, and they are trying their best to just run away with it and make it incredibly difficult for Gankstars to have any impact on this game. They have almost a 4,000 gold lead here at 8 minutes, so they're about 500 gold a minute up, and they find another kill there.
That they do, just managing to catch out Xenotech, who is overextended in the jungle of Tribe. He's got a Shatterglass now, but he is lagging behind Tigers. They're going to chase Mac Daddy out, and Tigers gets another kill. 4-1, 4,500 gold lead at the 8-minute mark. This is looking very good for Tribe.
Looking very good for Tribe, and it's looking very grim for Gankstars as they are desperately trying to find anything they can at this point, any edge to actually get through a fight, try to take an advantage of their own, but it looks like Tribe can get a free gold mine here, extend their lead, and they are going to be looking to probably infuse off of this and then try to push in another fight, try to get that choke point turret down as soon as they possibly can.
They're just so far ahead already. You look at it, you've got an even a Dragon's Eye finished on Tigers. Compare that to Xenotech, who only really has the Shatterglass. You've got Fountain and Crucible finished on towards Max Green, whereas Max Daddy's sitting only on the Fountain at the moment. You're almost looking at a full item ahead for all of the guys on the side of Tribe, and it shows why they've been looked at as a challenger for this world spot. You know, TSM were kind of a shoo-in to get it a long time ago, and now Cloud9 came up, got the first world spot. TSM were challenging for the second one, and then Tribe and Rogue really come out of nowhere and say, no, TSM, you haven't secured this for yourself. We can challenge for it, and we will continue to show you why we are forced to be reckoned with in the North American scene.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, Tribe came through with a big performance last week, really made a statement, and they will be looking to continue to do so today. Xenotech getting blown up by those glimmer shots.
And that's exactly what you want to do if you're Tribe. You're so far ahead. It's only 10 minutes in the game. You've already taken 2 turrets. Just force fights. Continually force onto Gankstars. You've got the healing. Luluziu jumps in, but already he's dead. Blast Hammer is blocked out. Xenotech takes a Valkyrie to the back and tries to run away, but cannot escape the icy doom that is a Winter Spire. And now Tribe are diving into the base of Gankstars, looking for the triple, looking for the ace. They get it. It's great play by Tribe. They do exactly what they needed to do. They do exactly what will secure them a space at Worlds in Singapore. They take down the choke point turret and they turn back towards the jungle of Gankstars.
Yeah, and while Tribe is looking really good right now, it is important to note that, you know, their journey to Worlds does not end here. They have to keep this performance up all weekend long. They have to win this entire week, as well as have TSM perform hopefully a little bit under what they have been, and that's where Tribe's, you know, really going to be coming through. I I'd have to double check the standings. I think Tribe is on the same side of the bracket as TSM. I might be getting it backwards. They might have been on the same side with Rogue, but you know,
Decent gold
both of these
payout
teams need to have a good performance this week to pass Rogue, who's sitting several points up right now. And, you know, Rogue, you know, they are now out. They can't acquire any more points. So now Tribe coming through, trying to make sure they can get 2 here and then look to get 6 more for the remainder of the weekend. And as Bacon said, they do take the win percentage head-to-head against Rogue if they win the entire weekend.
Yeah, both Tribe and TSM have a better win percentage than Rogue across the course of the split, so they would take it if the scores are even at the end of the week. But I get the sense we're going to have a defined winner by the end of this week. I don't think it's going to come down to win percentage. I think it's going to come down to just pure points as Tribe continue to push into the base of Gankstars. LuluZero does have the metal jacket complete alongside a breaking point and a serpent's mask and can look for the engage. There's the Phism Shade coming out as Tribe are forced back, but the stun lands the root as well onto LuluZero, who pops the red mist and jumps away from the fray with that into the fray. Tribe pushing for the turret now. The glimmer's coming down. Max Green jumps in with the arcane passage. LuluZero uses that as a chance to get onto the back line of DNZO, but he pops a kiss to the roam and takes down Xenotech. LuluZero jumps back in with the red mist, but before even the 13-minute mark, Tribe are looking to close this one out. It's only Mac Daddy left alive, and Tribe will be able to take down the crystal turrets and take down the crystal as well. 9 kills to 1, pre-13 minutes. What a performance from Tribe.
Tribe made a crazy statement here. 13 minutes bringing down Gankstars, who have kind of looked a little bit on the rise from the beginning of the tournament. And it's not quite enough today, though. It's only a single kill going over to Gankstars. Tribe, they kept the lane pressure up at every single turn. They were able to push in. I guess you could say a fairly low kill game, you know, despite the fact that it is low minute game. But that just shows how aggressive Tribe was and how much they focused on getting those objectives down and just getting their net gold off of that.
Yeah, great stuff from Tribe all around. They go 1-0 up in this series, and we'll be hoping to close it out as quickly as that first game ended. We're going to hand it back across towards Munch and the guys and hope that Munch hasn't broken the microphones once again. Let's pray to the gods of the Halcyon Fold. Munch, take it away.
I've been very careful with the microphones this time around. We are back. We're ready to analyze that game. And what a quick game it was. A 13-minute victory from Tribe. They are not messing around when it comes to this quarterfinal. They've realized they have a real shot at Worlds, and they are raring to get straight into that semi-final.
Yeah, absolutely. Coming out strong and just demolishing Gankstars. But this is something that we talk about every so often. When a stronger team faces a weaker team, they need to have performances like this. They need to show that they are clearly and definitively a better team, because if you have struggles against the bottom teams in the league, then how are you going to be able to perform against the top teams? This is sending a message.
I mean, still though, Gankstars is a VGA team. These are pro players that practice. They're a pro team, but Tribe, after how they must be feeling after Cloud9 beat Rogue, and it's showing in this game. They're feeling incredible right now, and with that composition where they could just siege, it just all worked out so well for them.
They are on a serious momentum swing right now. We'll see if they can roll that on during this series. Let's take a look at our first replay, which was First Blood coming through for Tribe right towards the start of the game.
I talked about the siege. You can see here, 6 minutes into the game, the first turret was already down, and they're sieging the second one. Rona tries to go in after they get poked really heavily. She does not have the damage yet to take down any target, only a Serpent's Mask, and they have the Lyra Sustain to keep them alive, also Tribe. So they just came out blazing, took down 2 turrets by 7 minutes, and they had a 4K gold lead after that replay.
Yeah, and then our next replay is a couple more fights where we can see them trading kills back and forth with Gankstars, although there was not very many kills that Gankstars managed to get.
It's not much of a trade when it ends up being 1 for however many Tribe you pick up. It ends up just being Tribe finding these opportunities, and credit to Gankstars there. You know, they felt that they were falling behind. They tried to make a play happen. They got the kill, but that was the only kill that they pick up. They're trying to invade. Tribe spots them out, and T-Tigers is just so strong on this rhyme already. Has the Eve of Harvest, and then the extra damage coming through from a one-shot to secure the kill. It was just, again, this is Tribe. It feels like trying to send a message letting Team Solomid know that if they make it to the semifinal against them, they are going to be ready and waiting.
I talked in draft saying that Gankstars should fear this Ryan pick coming up for T-Tigers, and that 1v2 is exactly why I mentioned that. T-Tigers actually played really well throughout the early game. He stole quite a few camps away from the Baptiste, and he also secured the Elder Tree. And so that early game advantage that he gained allowed and enabled his team to finish out the game in 30 minutes.
Exactly what you need to see out of a Rhyme during the early game. Being aggressive and being assertive. Let's take a look at a fight that happened around 10 minutes into the game. This was the first ace that Tribe managed to grab themselves.
This was the very first ace. Until here, it's been just kills and objectives, but they start sieging this third turret, and for Rona to go in like that, and right on top of the active camo, which went right in front of him, was put down. It was a mistake from Lulugio, and then the Crucible blocking the silence also meant that Kestrel could continue on dishing damage, Rhyme could continue on dishing damage, and once they had this ace, the third turret going down, it meant that the game was very close.
And not only that, but going for that fight, forcing the fight out really from Gankstars, because they were pushing up with minions, and you saw it there. As soon as they got the ace, the minions were already on the turrets for them to go and just immediately destroy the choke point turret. So it was Gankstars feeling like they had to fight because of the pressure that Tribe was pulling off as they finish off the game on this push.
Absolutely, they are going to be able to end the game right before our eyes at a 13-minute victory coming out for Tribe. Fantastic performance. Let's take a look at the damage done during that game. I got a feeling Dienzio might just be topping this table. There we go.
Wow.
32. Double anyone else's in the game. Xenotech the only one anywhere near him, and he's still like 16,000 down.
Yeah, that was an incredible showing. Again, just Tribe putting the pressure out against Gankstars, forcing Gankstars to feel like they had to try and make desperation plays just to relieve some of the pressure. And at that point, when you're that far behind, you go for the desperation play. If it doesn't work out, then you just fall even further back.
I mean, it's also perfect utilization from Tribe of their composition, understanding perfectly when their power spikes hit and pressuring and pushing with those power spikes really well as well meant that Kestrel could dish out all that damage. Incredible performance so far. 1 up. Can they finish it and go on undefeated?
They are 1-0 up. And I want to remind you guys how important this series is moving forward within the Vainglory 8 here in North America. Because Rogue lost their series earlier on today, everything has opened wide. Let's take a look at where we are within the North American Vainglory 8 right now. Rogue, 31 points on the board, but Team Solomid and Tribe are both going to be trying to close that gap. There are 3 points between them. Tribe with a very real possibility of overtaking Rogue, but TSM are going to be in their way. If you look towards the bottom side of this bracket, both TSM and Tribe are on the same side of this bracket, which means that our semi-final tomorrow could well be Tribe against TSM. We're going to be jumping into Game 2 of this series, but TSM is going to be hitting your screens after this one. That is going to be just as important of a series. Tempo Storm have been looking better, but we need to start to talk about the draft coming on into this one. It is Tribe against Gankstars still. What can Gankstars change to have a better performance? Because honestly, 13-minute victory, you got to change something.
I think the draft is first thing to start with. Obviously, with any team, that's the beginning of the game. You need to get yourself advantages. Playing against a team such as Tribe that can push the early game so well, you can't have a weaker composition in that period. So that's just what I was expecting from Tribe. Ban the Rona, then first pick the Black Feather, and all of a sudden Lulugio doesn't have his top 2 picks if Tribe does go through with it. Now Gankstars already in a bad spot when it comes to draft just because of hero pools.
And now Gankstars has to also choose, do they want to try and go for the Rhyme? Another thing about this Tribe run, though, that is kind of, again, why they're not messing around whatsoever with this Gangstar squad is Tribe, if they go 6-0 this week, if they do not drop a single game, they will be the team going to Worlds because of the tiebreakers that could happen. So that's one of the other reasons why they are so motivated now. With Rogue dropping that series, they are technically in control of their own destiny. They could secure themselves that spot if they just continue to win.
Certainly could. It's a very real possibility for them. Arden, the first pick for Gankstars here. We've not seen that much Arden today, honestly, which is kind of a surprising situation.
Yeah, it's definitely a surprising situation, but Gankstars saying they're going to want to go for it. They did really well with it. Also yesterday, I believe, in the other competition, we mentioned the Halcyon Elite. So trying to replicate what the somewhat of a success they had against Cloud9. And since the Catherine didn't work for them, it did make sense.
And so with the Lyra then banned as well, it's kind of the common place now where it's you either ban the Lyra and take the Arden, or take the Lyra and ban the Arden or the Grace. So we'll see if the Grace ends up coming through for Tribe. They'll have plenty of options when it does come around time for them to pick. But Gankstars, you got to figure they're going to go for either they have to go for either their jungler or their laner here, because they first picked that captain role. And you need something that can deal with the Black Feather, but the Rona isn't available. The Jewel is going to be the option here. And so you assume that's going to the lane, and it kind of just goes along with what Luluju has been playing recently. The Rona, the Black Feather, Jewel is kind of in a very similar place.
Yeah, it definitely is. And if Tribe goes for the weapon power Black Feather in the lane, Jewel can have pretty good success against it in the early game and mid game, because it can shove it in and consistently harass it to push it and bully it. So I wouldn't be surprised if Tribe at this point play CP Black Feather in the jungle and pick up something in the lane such as the Kestrel, or something that has good wave clear and can stay safe versus the Jewel.
I have to see where they do go with this on Tribe. Still a lot of options on the table, and this is a team that we've seen play multiple playstyles as well. It's not like this is a team with a one-dimensional draft that we'll be looking at here. Lyra taken, though, as well as the Arden. So captains such as the Grace, such as the Churnwalker, could well be available for them.
Yeah, Churnwalker, Grace, could even go to the Catherine Baptiste combo could come through, but with the Kestrel pickup there, not likely to be the case. I would still expect something like the Grace, but Lance is another one that is very strong. If you can lock up your opponents, he can cancel out gauntlets. That's one of the things that we've seen a lot of Lances actually being able to do of late. So it'll be interesting to keep our eyes on that interaction when Arden goes for those big plays.
Kestrel does come through like I predicted, and it does make sense because now Kestrel can hold the lane against the Jewel. She can still be harassed, and Jewel still has a mid-game power spike over her, but you can just stay safe and clear wave with your Glimmer shots. The last pick I really like, because if you're going up against two heroes that will dive onto your backline, Lance makes perfect sense because you can protect that backline very well with your Kythian walls and your impales. Last pick is Samuel for Gankstars.
Yeah, absolutely. Samuel for Xenotech. This is a classic Xenotech pick. This is one we've seen him play 1,000 times before. How are we feeling about the compositions? What do Gankstars need to do to have a stronger showing here in Game 2?
A lot of it is going to be about positioning in these fights. You know, the Samuel usually wants to be sort of frontlining, but also kiting backwards alongside it. But then the Jewel wants to be going all in. So the interactions of when they choose to fight will be incredibly important, because once the Jewel goes in, Drifting Dark has to be out, and the Malice and Verdicts have to be following up with her.
Absolutely. We'll see if that is going to be the case. We'll see how this one is going to pan out. It's time to pass it back to our casters. Get into game number 2. Hashtag Vainglory8. Let us know who you are supporting. But let's pass it back to Medic and Denominate.
Thank you very much, Munch. We are getting into the second game here between Tribe and Gankstars, and Tribe are looking to secure their spot in the semi-finals tomorrow and be one step closer, just one small step closer to that world spot in Singapore. They're buying their tickets. They're on the page. They're looking at that website saying, oh, do I want business class? Do I want the extra legroom? Do we want an aisle? Do we want a window where you've got to win this game first before you can even start thinking about those flights out in a month's time? Denominate might still have his microphone muted, might be coughing. This happened last week, so we'll give him a moment as I continue to think about exactly where Tribe would be seated on this plane. I think you want a bunch of sort of relatively forward seats, but you need, like, I always leave a seat between me, so I get an aisle seat in the middle with the 3, and you get one aisle on one side and one aisle on the other side, and you have the seats open in the middle. No one ever takes those seats, because they don't want to sit next to other people. Anyway, Tribe are looking for a bit of an engage here. On towards MacDaddy, who will just walk away. The Elder Treant was taken earlier on. And Gankstars able to escape from the Tribe gank squad.
Yeah, definitely a good start for them to be able to get out there. And it is Gankstars taking a little bit of an advantage. And I'm sorry for leaving you alone there a little bit,
That's
Medic.
all right, man.
I'm getting better, but I'm not all the way there yet.
That's okay. I can appreciate you being sick. It's not like we've got a doctor around or anything who could look after you.
Yeah, I need a medic. That's what I need. Anyway, puns aside, we've got Tribe up against Gankstars, and this Kestrel, and hold on here. Well, hang on a second.
Yeah, a little bit of a fight in the lane as Mac Daddy is a bit aggressive onto Max Green. Xenotech doing a lot of work on his cosplay skin as he forces back Zeo and Max Green. And actually at the moment, Tigers is just counter-jungling, just trying to get into the jungle of Gankstars, who are looking for the early turret once again, trying to do one better than Tribe did in the first game, trying to get it by the 2.5 minute mark. They've got a lot of minions remaining here. Tigers on the flank. Xenotech knocked into the wall with the Githian. The turret does fall, but Xenotech almost goes down in exchange. Tigers pops the healing flask as he continues to try and aggress towards the Samuel. Eventually takes him down. Now Mac Daddy's the new target. So Arden tries to run his way away. Tigers taken very low. Good Githian. The Impale comes out as well. They're chasing on towards Lulu, but he just about gets away. Tigers, he's going to fall as well to the Thunderstrike, and it ends up being a 1-for-1. But remember, Gankstars got the turret before that fight even started.
Yeah, they definitely did. This Jewel is so aggressive and able to soak up a lot of damage as well as deal a lot out, especially to objectives, as they will not avoid those Thunderstrikes. Even with only a couple items built, the aggression that comes out of a Samuel and a Jewel in lane, that's really when we saw Samuel start to be a priority pick for a lot of teams, because he is so good at coming up and just applying constant lane pressure, able to harass both the enemy laner and damage the turret at the same time thanks to the splash damage. And it's going to be Xenotech getting dropped now by Tribe, as they're going to make a rotation into the Gankstars jungle.
Yeah, not the best there from Xenotech. Probably would have liked to have survived. I think that's a sort of a ubiquitous statement you can say about most players in these games. Like, oh, not the best there from him. He probably wouldn't have wanted to get killed by the enemy team. Probably would have wanted to survive there, but wasn't able to do it, and gives Tribe a little bit of a window back into this game. Zeo is forced very far back in this lane, of course, because of that turret falling down early on, so doesn't want to push too far up. They don't have the vision control that they would like at this moment in time.
No, they definitely don't, but they're very, very much still in this game. I mean, the gold is even, in fact, a little bit in the favor of Tribe, despite 600 gold going over to Gankstars for that first turret, and now Tigers might be a little bit caught out here.
And Luluzi wasn't quite able to land the rocket jump, didn't get the stun off, and Tigers is able to get away. Now Zeo's looking for the flank, Impale on towards the Jewel. Here comes DN, Zeo gets one, now looking for a little bit more as they re-engage. Tribe going deep on it towards the members of Gankstars. Xenotech trying to kite back as much as he can, gets the Vanguard, the stun's gonna land though from that Githian wall, and there's the chase. It's an ace for Tribe, only 4 minutes in, and they say, Gankstars, whatever you can do, we can do it better. Get themselves an ace, we'll take the turret down as well.
Yeah, they definitely should be able to get this turret. However, Lulu is coming back. They have a minion candy ace wave here, though, so I don't think there's anything Lulu can effectively do to even make it here in time. And that's going to be Tribe taking a massive lead now. Are evening up the turrets off of that, but more importantly, they have now taken a gold lead substantially in their favor, sitting up 1.5k, even though it was a good start for Gankstars. And, 5 kills on the board for Tribe already. The Enzio on this Kestrel just doing so much work. Has the Sorrow Blade complete. And, making sure he's able to just harass out as much damage as he can. And Xenotech is going to have to make good rotations with the team where he can get a good Drifting Dark down and follow up with some good Malspur.
Zeo used the big bet button there to try and force Max Green back. Jumps in with the rocket leap. Zeo is quite low here as Mac Daddy shows exactly what this Arden can do on that back line. Zeo once again goes into the active camo stealth. Needs this Elder Treant to try and, just a normal Treant to heal himself back up. We'll get it. Mac Daddy on that front line. Playing that fighter Arden at the moment, jumping in as much as he can. Enzio looking for a flank, has the one-shot, one kill. Here it comes, doesn't hit onto Xenotech. The Impale, though, is going to land, and the Glimmers come out as well. The Githian wall knocks Mac Daddy back, and he is going to fall to Zeo down towards the bottom side of this fight. And Tribe once again get 2 quick kills and force Gankstars to back away.
Now, Tribe really asserting their dominance here, making sure that they can stay ahead and look to close this game out early again. Last game was just about 13 minutes, and they might be looking to try to break that here. Xenotech not quite having the effect that he would like. He does not have a tier 3 completed yet, 6.5 minutes into the game, so he's not packing the punch that Samuel needs to help Lulu be able to find enough damage in the fights to get a kill onto D'Enzio, or even just force T-Tigers out, who only has a light shield for defense. But without a tier 3 complete for Xenotech, that's That's a lot of defense on T-Tigers already.
And Xenotech has the gold for tier 3. He's just a little bit tentative about stepping up to the jungle camp. But let's see what he gets up first. It's going to be the Frostburn to start us off.
Yeah, so Frostburn obviously received some changes recently. It does provide a little bit more of a consistent slow, but it doesn't have the damage it once did. I mean, we can see those empowered Malice and Verdicts just tickling T-Tigers, whereas T-Tigers takes a massive chunk out of health of Xenotech. And Tribe, their real fear here is Lulu.
A very scary duel, but Dienzo is going to be the one to step forward, looking for the glimmers on the turret. They have a big wave here, but they can't quite get the damage down that they want. And the tiny T-Tigers will go in there. There's the active cam of the root from the side as well with the Impale. Here comes the Oblivion. Double sleep. They're going for nap time. Tribe let down by the Gangstar squad. Here comes the big red button. Mediocre move more than anything else. Didn't really do the damage that it could have done. But Dienzo setting up here as Xenotech's the one to step forward. Dienzo takes a massive chunk from the Thunder Strike. He's forced back as the lightning was about to rain hell upon him. Max Green pops the Crucible to try and survive. T-Tigers jumping away with the Rose Offensive as well. And Tribe actually didn't take a fight that they wanted there at all, but T-Tigers with a great on point, absolutely shredding through Xenotech and Mac Daddy. And here comes the flank from Dienzio trying to land the glimmers. Already one down. Here's the one-shot, one kill. Lands onto Mac Daddy, but it's not enough. And Tribe now in a 2v3 have to disengage the fight. They give up ground to Gankstars who go for the gold miner.
Yeah, and that was a good capitalization from Gankstars to abuse the positioning coming out of Tribe, and they end up coming out with a win there, bringing back some gold into their pockets as well as getting that gold mine, so getting it even a little bit closer. A gold discrepancy that was just 4,000 is now only 1K, so Gankstars, they gotta be feeling all right off the back of that one. It's not perfect. They were hoping to be a little bit more ahead in the mid game, but the fact that they're showing signs of life right now is absolutely huge for their cause.
Alright, signs of life. They have 2 kills in this game thus far. I agree with you though. It's a better performance than it was in the last game when they only managed to get 1 throughout the 13-minute course. They now have a Tyrant's Monocle finished on towards the duel as well, so they are in a strongish position, although not dominant. It's still behind in gold, about 2,000 in the hole against this Tribe squad, who have looked very strong, who've been very aggressive early on, who've been willing to make these plays and take the front foot against Gankstars.
Yeah, absolutely. And now Tribe, all back together, are going to look to go ahead and keep that aggression up as long as they possibly can so that they can try to close this game out and secure themselves a spot in day 2 of the final week of the Vainglory 8. So this is some of the most important games that Tribe has played all season long so far. They need to pull together this victory here. If they were to lose to Gankstars, they would 100% lose their chance at making it to Worlds. And Zeno gets blown up! No medic in the world can save you.
That's disgusting. Impale comes out. The Gauntlet stunned out by the Githian wall. The turret goes down, and the jump in from Lulu is just going to be a jump to his doom. Straight into the Thresh Grinder that is this Tribe squad. They're chasing onto Mac Daddy as well. Do get the Impale, but I think they realize they probably don't want to dive in Arden at this point, especially since Xenotech is back up. Tribe with 2 turrets now can look for a little bit more. Mac Daddy takes a big chunk. Xenotech as well with those glimmer shots. Connecting on towards him. Dienzio jumps back in. The Githian wall. The Impale, and that is a dead Samuel once again. It's not the best of positions to be in. A big red button comes out. The one-shot, one kill from Dienzio is absolutely on point. It's only Lulu Ziu left alive to try and defend this choke point turret for the Gankstars.
Yeah, but can he do it? There's so much damage coming out of Tribe already in this game. Have to be incredibly careful, however, because T-Tigers and Dienzio are very low. One good Thunder Strike from Lulu could have killed either one of them. Go ahead and make it out and take some farm with them. But Tribe, they're poised right now, looking for a victory. They're looking good doing it.
That they are. Let's have a quick look across what items they have got as well. It's a Tornado Trigger into Tyrant's Monocle for Dienzio at 603. He is dominating this game. Max Green has finished his Echo, the Fountain, and the Crucible. Basically, an almost fully built Lance page there as well. And Tiger's going Broken Myth and Shatterglass, a very common CP Blackfeather build.
Yeah, definitely looking for that raw burst. Here, pair it up with the amount of damage that D'Enzio can put down. And so far it has worked. They've been able to take an edge throughout most of this game. They just have to keep it up. As obviously, Gankstars, they've been able to find a kill here and there. Nothing major, but, you know, if you don't respect the damage that Lulu is able to put out, you're going to pay for it very quickly. Now that Xenotech has that Dragon's Eye complete, he can start to ramp up and be a threat in these fights as well.
Question is he going to get to a point where he ramps up? I don't think Tribe are willing to wait out longer fights. It's much more about them catching someone out and just critting them to death with these glimmer shots, and that's exactly what D'Enzio is trying to do. He gets in, misses the first, misses the second, hits the third and the fourth though, and Luluzio is down to half. They on point, connects as well, and Luluzio will be forced back towards base to heal himself back up. D'Enzio says, oh, I'll take one of your treants for healing for myself. And they can look to re-engage. Just waiting on that active camo. Is spotted out by a flare, so won't go any further for the time being. But here he goes. He's running in, going for the engage onto Xenotech. Double crit does take him low. Luluzio's on that front line. Xenotech goes down first blood. Goes towards Tribe in this fight. The engage comes in with the Rosa Penzo as well. And Max Green gets a good Githyan Wall knockback. But D'Enzio doesn't want to trade anymore. Just wants to take away the treants. Now he's looking for Mac Daddy. He decides against it. 1-for-1 trade. Tribe and Gankstars still surprisingly close in these fights. Turning onto Luluzio, gets a stealth, but the stun does land, and that's a dead Kestrel. Max Green's going to get chased away here as well. Might even get the ace, although T-Tigers does just respawn in time. The big red button forces Max Green into a bad situation, and Mac Daddy chases him out with the blood for blood.
And that's a 5th kill on the board for Gankstars now. And like I said, you have to respect the damage this Jewel can do. With the overdrive on the Thunder Strikes, they will crit. And with a Sorrow Blade, a Monocle, and working into a Tornado Trigger, Jewel can delete a squishy target like Kestrel. No armor built on Kestrel yet. T-Tiger's finally working into some of his own. But, you know, again, Gankstars have a clear opportunity where they can still win this, as they do secure a gold mine there as well. D'Enzio almost snuck that one away. Not quite the shot that he needed, but I still think they are in a comfortable spot as long as they don't overcommit to a fight and get blown up by Lulu, who now has the Tornado Trigger complete and is working into more critical damage at this point.
I totally agree with you. They're only 2,000 gold ahead now. You know, Tribe are very much on the back foot, and if D'Enzio especially steps out of line, he's going to get caught up. There's the Impale onto Luluzio, but he can just jump away with that leap. Here comes Max Green. Mac Daddy getting shredded. There's the big red button to knock him back. Githyan comes out, but doesn't stun up Xenotech. D'Enzio is looking for a way to thread a one-shot, one-kill, but couldn't find it. It's only just come off cooldown as well, so instead Tribe will go back, clear out the Crystal Sentry, and wait for Gankstars to make a mistake.
Yeah, and that's something that Tribe has done well, is anytime that Xenotech gets a little bit too far out, gets a little bit too close into that front line, they blow him up in a heartbeat. Now, with the Kraken on the board, both of these teams actually have a composition that can take the Kraken very quickly, but you know, with it being started up and all members of Gankstars alive, we could see a fight breaking out here, or we could just see a Kraken getting taken down. Such a risky call from both of these teams. Here we go.
Glimmers are coming out, but Max Green's already quite low, needs to use the fountain. Here comes the Oblivion, the block comes out, Zeo survives, and that's a kill. Already on towards the Jewel. That Gauntlet is actually locking in the team. Here comes Gankstars, but Xenotech will get taken out. 2-for-0 trade, sorry, in favor of Tribe. And they take the exact fight that they needed to try and secure this win.
And now with D'Enzio forcing up the lane and T-Tigers and Max Green going to go ahead and work on that Kraken, this likely could be the final push for Tribe. There's only 2 turrets between them and a victory, and this isn't as quick of a game as the last one, but it doesn't matter how quick you win, it matters that you win, and they're looking in a wonderful position right now to be able to do so. It's going to be all about the damage coming out of Jewel and Samuel finding a kill, taking down the Kraken, and holding Gankstars' lifeline of staying in, possibly to find a game 3.
Crystal Sentry defeated.
I'm just not sure that Gankstars have the mental fortitude at this point. They feel a little bit defeated to me. Maybe if they had won that last fight, they would have been able to continue in this series. But Tribe have shown us consistently that they are able to capitalize on their opponent's mistake. You've got Tornado Trigger and Double Tyrants on D'Enzio now as well. You've got the Impales landing. You've got Zio looking for the flank and Zeno going down, and that's another kill for Tribe. And D'Enzio is just consistently finding the exact they need. He's going to get a double stun there and a double kill. Mac Daddy's going to get chased out as well. Could even be the triple. Not quite, but it is an ace for Tribe. And with the Kraken pushing in, this should be 2-0 for them as they go through to the semi-finals tomorrow. And they still have those Worlds chances alive. You know, it's incredibly close. M and TSM battling out. Rogue almost out of contention now with Tribe winning today. But there is still a chance for all three of those teams to get that second World spot.
Definitely close in the runnings, but Tribe keep their lifeline good to go. And they, again, they have to win this entire week if they want to go to Worlds, as well as they have to hope that Team Solo Mid has a less than top par performance. So with that, that's about all I have to say about that one, and I'm excited to get into Tempo Storm versus Team Solo Mid next.
Yeah, going to be a great series. We're going to hand it back across towards our analyst to break down that game in the same way that Tribe broke down Gankstars.
Broke them down is definitely an appropriate term for that series. A clean 2-0 to Tribe, and they are going to move on